To have SJ on today, and he's going to tell us all about RTLD media. SJ?
All right now what I'm doing on my phone is a live broadcast to a new social media app called Hang With. And what it does, it gives you a 15-minute broadcast of anything you want to do. You could be sitting at the house watching TV or doing something like this. So if you want to check out the app, go to hangwith.com/SJ. If you download it through my link, I get credit for putting you up on the app. I have some material from the past 10 years. I started doing hip hop towards the end of high school, and I started a group called SJ&D with a little friend of mine, and I still have the first CD I ever put out over 10 years ago. So I'm gonna have to condense 10 years worth of hustling around Little Rock in 6 minutes or whatever, so they can go over a little bit. So they told me this was business casual, and I started thinking, my business is hip hop, so I would have to wear what we wear, and be in my element. So this is what my business looks like, and I'm casually talking about it. So I went to Parkview, I went to Central, and everywhere I went, I was the white guy with the braids. I used to wear my hair braided all the time, so I stood out. I was dancing, I was rapping, I was on the art side at Parkview, and I had a lot of fun. And my parents were both actors at the Ralph Murray's Dinner Playhouse, and I was always inspired to be on stage. I never thought about being much of a business person, especially as a kid. I mean, I just wanted to do music. That's all I wanted to do. So what happened was, I would get out and sell these CDs in front of the Flying Saucer for like $3. Some of the worst hip hop music ever. But you gotta start somewhere. So I started out on the street level, pressing my own CDs with CD Stomper, upgrading to an inkjet printer, and then eventually, somebody approached me, there was another artist, and said, "Hey man, who presses your CDs?" I said, "Well, I did." And they said, "Well, how much are you gonna charge me for that?" So, So I started doing that. I started pressing CDs for other artists, as well as promoting my music. Then before you know it, I started pressing up flyers to promote upcoming events, putting together posters, and I think the city got tired of me because at one point there was like a poster on every pole downtown, and they started tearing them down. The police told me, "Hey, you can't do that anymore." But hey, it's part of the guerrilla marketing. That's what hip hop is all about, making something out of nothing. So street teaming my own music, people started saying, "Hey man, how much would you charge me to do that for my brand?" I'm like, okay. There's another thing I can hustle on, even though all I wanted to do was do music at first. So through the years, I started picking up other stuff. Then I got tired of standing on the corner just rapping. Started putting together CDs with tickets. So you buy a CD, you get a ticket to my show. All right. So other people started saying, "Hey man, what I got to do to get on your show?" There's another hustle, right? So it never really meant, I never really tried to start out selling anything to anybody other than my own music. But I ended up turning to this guy that's selling stuff to other artists, to other musicians, and to the public and the fans. So 2005 was my year. I started my group 4x4 crew. We had this song called "Tell You My Mom from Arkansas." We've sampled Ray Charles. Probably got about 100,000 hits on YouTube just because it was such a diverse sounding hip hop song. We made it clean, no cursing. And it was just a positive track about being proud of being from Arkansas. And then the fact you got Ray Charles sample in there, you can't go wrong with that, right? Once a hit, always a hit. So that was a record that got my name out there initially. That's where we broke out. "Tell your mom from Arkansas. Tell your mom." Y'all heard that? Gonna sing back there? Okay. So it got me thinking, it's not so bad being a local artist. You have to be proud of your surroundings, because the music industry is not gonna take you serious if you don't. So then I made a track called "Local Celebrity." And it was about being proud of being known in your hometown. It was about not being famous. It was about being from an underdog state in the music industry. Because if you've noticed, there are no major hip hop artists from Arkansas. Every other genre is blown up but hip hop at some point or another. So I started this whole thing in Little Rock called the Local Celebrity Mixtape. And I featured other local artists on it, not just my band. We pressed up 1,000 copies, sold them, gave them out through an event releasing the mixtape. And it was a way for me to tie in other artists in my community with what I was doing. Because a lot of people, they they're only worried about their brand. And I never really wanted to get into the business aspect where 3 or 4 days out of the week I'm pressing CDs for other artists, I'm promoting for other artists, I'm doing this for other artists. But after a while, local businesses started noticing what I was doing, like Sophisticated Urban, Rock City Kicks. So they started sponsoring my events because they would get behind what we were doing. And throughout the years, I was a student at ULIP, and they had a public access station. And it was on channel 62 at the time. So I started a TV show called Rock Town Lockdown. Did that for about 2 or 3 years. And the format of the station changed, but what I did was featured other local artists on the show. And I started out with a really cheap camcorder, a little Canon with a plastic lens my mom got me for Christmas my senior year. And what did I do? Get out there and promote myself. Before you know it, other artists want to get on there. So I think y'all can see where I'm going with this RTLD Media. We did radio shows, we did mixtapes, we had DJs in the club. I mean, it just grew exponentially after the TV show. And so I was like, what do I put on my CDs that I'm pressing for other people? What do I put on these posters? What am I going to tell people? Hey, I'm SJ and I rap and I promote and I press CDs and I do camera work. And you turn into these different people and you have all these hats on, so I consolidate all that into RTLD Media, which is originally Rocktown Lockdown TV. And since then, starting out with this CD Stomper CD and doing dozens of mixtapes, being featured in Miss Lady magazine. I mean, I could go all day. How long have I gone so far?
Getting close.
Getting close? Okay. What I learned was, when you work hard for yourself, people are going to notice it, and they're going to want to be a part of it. And you can either be selfish and say, no, I'm doing this for me and my brand, and I'm not, worried about helping build a community or industry. But then I started realizing if I'm not willing to help build this community up, which is already kind of being overlooked, then why would I expect anybody to notice me anyway? So instead of just taking all these services for myself and not worrying about anybody else, I actually used it to build up the hip hop community. Now we do independent music night once a month down at the Red Room. We started at Juanita's in Downtown Music, and we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary. And it's the only hip hop show that I know of where we offer profit sharing to the other artists. We give them tickets to sell, they keep 30% of what they're able to sell. And I feel like that show is pretty much a summary of what I went through the past 10 years, starting out just rapping, standing on the corners, hustling CDs. Because at the show, we have merch tables and they sell CDs. To putting together a TV show, it goes from Comcast Channel 62 and everything's on YouTube and Hang With, obviously. And standing on the corner selling CDs will really humble you, especially at night when people are drunk and they don't know who you are. Excuse me, would you like to support your local artist? I had this CD of this music you've never heard for a few dollars. Man, please have your money. And that's where I got my start. And I have to always remember that. And that's why anytime I talk to people, again, I can go all day about it. But now Independent Music Night, I think, is a brand that hopefully I can do a presentation on next time, because that's a whole monster of its own. And our plans are for 2015 to expand outside of hip hop, so we can have some different rock acts, comedians, poets. But I mean, what do you think, man? It's good?
Yeah, that's good. I guarantee we'll have some great questions, and I know one particular person will probably have some good.
Yeah, and I know I'm all over the place with it, but y'all feel free to ask me anything you like, and hopefully I can elaborate.
Well, give it up for SJ. Thank you. All right, so now SJ is going to transition back behind the podium. We're going to go into questions. So before you ask a question, please make sure you say your name and what you do. We want to make sure that everybody in here gets a chance to kind of learn about the room. And we'll be passing around the mic so we can pick you up on the audio. So who has the first question?
Yes, Joe Calhoun here, intellectual property law. I know that all of your experiences have built upon each other and they're all priceless, but knowing what you know now, what one thing would you do different
thing I would have done different, I would have invested in myself more over the years. A lot of it was trial and error. And I probably would have just did better research on what the next big thing was going to be, especially in social media. I was always really big on getting out and talking to people hand to hand. And when I started doing music, it was right around the time Facebook got started. And all the other artists and promoters in the city, they kind of slacked off because they had that crutch, which was the online stuff. And the difference between me and the other artists was I would go out and talk to people hand to hand on my CD, sell them a CD. I wasn't doing a lot of downloads at first. I kind of was against it in a way, because I was like, no, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to hustle and I'm going to talk to people. But that's where my mistake lied, is I should have done both instead of one or the other. So I would have done more research on the next big thing online and with hand-to-hand material, because I mean CDs are about to die out in a few years, so the next big thing is jump drives. I mean, before you know it, jump drives are going to be 50 cents for a gig or two, and you're going to be able to hand them out for free just like you do CDs now. So, more research.
Actually, I've got a question actually on top of that. How much thought have you been putting into like streaming services like Spotify and stuff? And I know that it's tough to get by on those, but like, what type of changes has that made for like the local hip hop scene?
They have stuff like CD Baby and TuneCore, where you can pay one fee and they'll upload your music to all the different sites that provide those services. The only thing is, there's so many channels. Sometimes you kind of question, like, okay, I think I sold 100 records, but they said it was 75, you know, and so there's always that room for error when you have your music going out to 25 different sites through one channel. And I've actually had people go, man, I don't know about this, you know, how do I know I'm getting all my money? A lot of these bigger sites are really geared towards major label artists. Beautiful thing is we have a new thing called Bandcamp. Have you heard about that? Bandcamp is a website where you just go online, you make your account, and you can upload music on the spot, hook it up to your PayPal, and sell it. As to where you don't have to wait on TuneCore or iTunes 6 weeks to get your music uploaded. And you can, I mean, there's so many more capabilities. I would just say check out a website called Bandcamp.com. It's the next big thing for independent artists like myself.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Susie with Legends of Arkansas.
How you doing?
Yeah, how are you? How big of a community, hip hop community, do we have here? I mean, how many artists do you think you work with?
I've booked over 200 artists on my show alone, and that's just scratching the surface. But then again, you have to kind of consider like who's taking it serious, who's not, because I've put some of the most experienced hip hop artists on stage that have been in the music industry for 10 or 15 years. I'm pretty sure y'all know who 607, Adrian Tillman is, Rim Music. My group, 4x4 crew, we started 10 years ago. Then you got guys that are fresh out of high school, don't know what they're doing, don't know what they want to do, but we have to give them a chance too, because they might be the guys that did the research. Yeah.
So how many play at the independent music show at the Reverend?
We have about 5 to 10 acts per show. Some people have shorter sets. You know, they might only want to do their single or their best song. Some people, they might bring a live band, like y'all probably heard of Epiphany Tomorrow Maybe. They can go an hour long if they wanted to. So it just depends. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some shows where some of the acts aren't so great. You know, it's their first time on stage. But that's the risk I'm willing to take, because at one show it was my first time on stage and somebody gave me a chance.
Right.
So.
Have you ever thought about doing an outward event? I've been a part of several outdoor events. Here's something I forgot to tell you about. I did they Stop the Violence song for Reverend Benny Johnson a few years ago. And we did a Stop the Violence concert down at the amphitheater with actress Keke Palmer and a few other acts. And actually the mayor of Little Rock saying that we created the first annual holiday. That was 2007. That was like my second or third year actually taking myself seriously. So, but yeah, we've done several outdoor events. I'd love to do some more. We'll have to talk about it.
Hey, this is Ryan Magnfor. I had a question. It kind of sounds like there's essentially a ceiling on R&B and rap in this area. what culturally do you think is creating that ceiling, and why is it preventing this type of art from breaking through?
That's a real good question. That's probably the one thing I've been trying to figure out for the past 10 years. I think part of it is we're not working with enough people outside of the hip hop community. We're kind of staying within our own circle in a way, but it's almost because we've been like the underdogs for a long time. You know, y'all know how much controversy comes behind hip hop music alone. And then within hip hop, there are so many different types of hip hop. I mean, hip hop is the one genre in my mind that can be mixed with any genre. I mean, Nelly did a song with Tim McGraw. It's hip hop and country right there. You know, you got people sampling rock music, R&B, old school. You know, I think we just need to branch outside of our initial circle. That's probably the biggest thing to me. That's why I'm here. How you doing?
I'm Neil Cook. And, my wife is the entrepreneur. I'm just an old cowboy. But, I don't have any idea what hip hop music is. You got anything in here that you could play a little hip hop music for us so we could know what?
I could rap for you.
Huh?
I could rap for you.
That'll work.
You need some music?
No, I mean, I can do acapella. Matter of fact, I'm glad you're asking these questions because there's a lot of, I'm very scatterbrained, all right? And I'm nervous right now, okay? I'm not gonna lie, like that. Everything I planned to talk about this morning didn't happen, at least not in order. So, I'm glad you asked. I have this song called Hip Hop Is Back, featuring YK from Grim Music. That's my promoter, my producer. And, oh, I can do it out loud, bro. If y'all, does anybody know who Joe High is? Joe C. High? He's a guy who works for Tyler Perry. He lives here in Little Rock, and what he does is he finds music for Tyler Perry movies. And we actually landed our first big check and our first big movie spot last year at Tyler Perry's Single Moms Club. It was a song called Hip Hop Is Back. They wanted something old school. And it was also Nick Cannon's School Dance, which is Radar. So if that's not your thing, don't go there. And we've landed several movie songs, but this was the first one. I'm just gonna rap it out loud. The song is called Hip Hop Is Back. The whole idea behind the song was we're taking it back to the 80s. So Rakim, Eric B, and I might be able to pull it up if y'all want to hear the actual song, but I might have to slow the lyrics down.
Oh, we want to hear from you.
All right. The rhythm, the rebel, the bass and the treble. I make the mic hotter than 11 levels lower than the devil. My pen is a shovel. The notebook is a cemetery. And each page is a grave from every beat that I've ever buried. My flow is sicker and iller than any serial killer you want to name, from Son of Sam to Jack the Ripper. The 44 caliber killer, it don't get no realer. I'm better than David Berkowitz when I murder this. Whack MCs, your time gon' come. We gon' pull your card, we gon' call your bluff. All the gimmicks in the image, it won't be enough. You gon' have to learn to rap and start from square one. Speaking in tongues, bring gon' come, leading you pumps, so kingdom come. Taking your crumbs, breaking your bones, stacking the buns, so make the sum. Lyrical runs, selling bums, I don't need no gun, I don't pop no truck. And a metaphoric mama top cocktail, I send it to you, pump. Woo! And it looks real simple. Hip hop is back!
Okay, now the Arkansas one.
Oh, that is,
She's trying to get a free show out of you.
that song has the sample in it where Ray Charles was saying, tell your mom, tell your pop, we'll see back Arkansas, right? And we sampled it, and I would actually need that song just played. Y'all just have to hear it. It's too much fun for me to do it by myself.
We'll see if we can get it on afterwards. I think we have a few more questions though. I want to make sure we get in.
Hey, my name is Luke Irvin. I'm with 52 Inc. I'm going to layer on more with what Ryan brought up. Did you ever know or work with Carrie, who recently was signed on with Gambino?
Carrie, yeah. I've actually booked her. She's one of the artists I booked for a show a few years ago.
Yeah, well, just like with everything that she's been working on, and even like what you just mentioned, like she just got a song, one of her songs with Gambino in the new Chris Rock movie.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa was actually on the internet talking about it.
Yeah, so, clearly she broke through that barrier, so are you taking anything from what she's done?
Other than the fact that she moved to California, I mean, that's what she did right. She moved.
Yeah, but she got Gambino here in Little Rock. Like, they were hanging out here in Little Rock.
That's what's up. Now, I don't know the whole story behind that, and I'm glad it happened because that's success for her, but that's actually good for the whole community here. It's not just, and that's the problem. A lot of people, they see other people as successful. I'm not a part of it, I don't care. That's the wrong way to look at it. Me, I'm like, okay, well, what can I do when she comes home? Does she want to do a show?
Right.
You know, she might not, you know, there are some artists that don't make it big in their hometown because they got like Neo. Y'all know Neo, he's from Arkansas, right? Camden, Arkansas. He actually claims Nevada. Like, he doesn't even claim Arkansas when they talk about, like, where did you blow up? He might say, yeah, I was born in Arkansas, but he doesn't give Arkansas credit for his success in music, and I'm not knocking that. But, you know, you never know where an artist goes, who they meet, and then they look back at the people that didn't support or where they might have not got their initial break from, and then, you know. Me, I'm a little more home. I got to give credit to Arkansas on everything. That's why I want to build this industry up. So more power to her, and I'd love to work with her more because it's been a few years since I booked her on the show. And they actually had their own movement. They were booking their own shows. They were pretty much what I was on. They were on shows with Juanita's, and you know, they did what they're supposed to do. They did it right. Now, again, I don't know if she made her connection in LA or Cali or here, but I think that does probably make a difference. You know, I don't think he just was walking down the street one day in Little Rock.
No, I think he discovered her just through the internet and then reached out to her, flew to Little Rock to talk to her, and then convinced her you need to move out to LA and then sign her on with royalty.
So he's the one that inspired her to move out there.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I need to catch up on that then.
yeah. I met him at South by Southwest, and this happened like right after.
I met 50 Cent at South by Southwest last year. I was like a little kid. Standing there, yeah. Anyways, you know about South by, how crazy it is. We'll be there this year.
So, hi, this is Mike Steele. Hey, so as a parent of teenagers, you know, probably the worst, you know, thing you can hear come out of their mouth is, "I want to be a musician," right? So, you know, and I'm not going to college. I'm not going to do whatever. I'm just going to. So, which would be fine with me. But what is it that are steps, you know, a young artist can take that can help them to, you know, see if this is something they can do?
First, they need to figure out what their resources are. One of my biggest resources, like, if I was to summarize my career, or not summarize it, but if I was to kind of sum up why I am somewhat successful, it would be because of the people around me, just not even just myself. Of course, it took me waking up in the morning and saying, this is what I'm going to do. But it was the people around me that cared about me. You know, you're asking questions about your children, right? Or anybody, for that matter. They have to really let the people around them know what they want to do and take themselves seriously first. And then you never know what kind of doors open. My dad worked at Bylights Productions, same company that used to set up Riverfest. I became a stagehand at like 15, setting up band equipment, just trying to meet LL Cool J, you know? But they saw I took myself seriously. And so business hours are over. I got keys to the place, and I'm setting up sets and using their cameras. And it's really just about using your resources. I mean, I went to Euler. What's here? What's available? The TV station. You know, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I look at this as entrepreneurship, right? So it's really no different than any other type of company that would get started. It's based upon creativity. But how do you find those resources? Is there any, you know, magic list?
You gotta get out and promote. That's what I did. I mean, I didn't sit in my room. I guess maybe that's kind of why I had a little bit of a hesitation with just so much online stuff, was because I'm a people person. I get out and talk, you know. So I would get out, pass out my flyers, sell my CDs, put my posters up, and then people took notice. You know, this little young guy out here standing in front of the Red Room every night for 2 years. You know, I mean, I was 17, sneaking into nightclubs, sliding my music to the DJs that own the rocks. I wasn't even supposed to be in there. But after a while, my face got so well known, just being around downtown, they didn't know how old I was. It was just, hey, he's selling CDs, trying to make some money. You know, I mean, when I was 17, people thought I was either 12 or 22. They didn't know. You know, you looking at me, you might think I was 12. You talk to me, you might thought I was 22. So finding those resources is really just about getting out, talking to people, see who cares about what you're doing, but you have to take yourself seriously first. I mean, there are so many people that have talent that are lazy. I'm sorry, they are. They're some of the most talented artists in the world are the laziest ones. and vice versa. I know artists that are horrible, straight up, but they're hustlers, they're entrepreneurs. Eventually they'll find their lane. And I mean, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm all over the place. Hang with this. These are all the things I had to pick up through the years just to survive and be happy with what I was doing. And again, I didn't start out trying to be a promoter. I didn't start out trying to push duplication and videos and shows, apps, and it just happened. It came to me because I was out there pushing myself. So that's the first thing and foremost. You got to put yourself out there.
My dad, I'm a freelancer, and I got just one question. There's a bunch of communities, all around the U.S. and around the world online. Is there one specific for Arkansas? And if it is, what you guys do for promotion and just to make money,
There's in the hip hop, there's no one community. I mean, it's so spread out. I mean, you might have 10 dozen Facebook groups going around that could all help you out, and then there might be a new website that pops up this year that's all about Arkansas. I mean, one of the biggest help I received in the beginning was from the Arkansas Times. Lindsey Miller, I think, was one of the guys that really helped get my name out in an area that nobody really knew me. I don't think there's any resources you shouldn't go for. I mean, I could give you a list rather than just one. Now, are you saying specifically online though?
No, I mean, like you guys coming together as artists.
Add us on Facebook. That's how we go. Follow me on Twitter. Obviously social media is where it's at. It's been there for years. I was kind of late getting on a lot of the stuff, but the biggest way for me to connect with people is just say, hey, come to the show.
I was going to say, and re-mention the show that you have on Friday. Because that might be a good opportunity for folks that are interested.
Well, yeah, there you go. There's a network right there. We have CDs, tickets for sale. We sell them for $10. All the artists. The artists keep 30% of what they can sell out of $10, and the club gets their cut. I get my cut. The DJs here, But independent music night is actually this Friday at the Rare Room, and if you're interested, anybody's interested in coming out, I got tickets on sale now. And the best way to connect with people in anything is just face to face. I think the internet has watered down a lot of stuff. You could see this same video online, and you probably wouldn't appreciate it as much. But being in the room, it's a lot different when you're face to face. To me, that's the biggest way to connect with people, face to face. We got to get back to that, and that's any genre, that's any business. Online is just a way to keep tabs on people. But to me, to get to know somebody, really become a part of their network, you want to meet them face to face. Internet's only going to do so much.
Cool. We got time for one more question.
My name's Nicholas Nelson. I'm a manager at La Quinta here in town. What kept you motivated the entire time?
There you go. The connecting factor and everything was the music. And again, that's all I wanted to do in the beginning. 2005, 2007, I did 24 episodes of my own TV show off my laptop that my dad bought me so I could go to ULA. I wanted to do APB also. So that TV show was something to do. I wasn't making any money, it was just something to do. And why was I running that TV show? Because I wanted to put my music out there. So it was always the music, from the TV shows to radio shows to working with other artists to just street teaming. All the little odd jobs were just to stay alive. To be honest with you, if I could have just did music and made a bunch of money, I wouldn't have had time to go street teaming for this company up the street that saw me passing out flyers. I've had the city of Little Rock pay me a couple $100 a job to just go around passing out flyers about community events. And I would come up with rates, and some of it's good money, and sometimes, you don't make no money, spend it all on gas. So, it's the music, that's all. It's always been the music. That's what kept me going, because that's why I started doing it. It's just I ended up picking up a lot of other trades along the way.
Awesome. That's going to be our last question from the audience, but SJ, we do this every single presenter. We want to give you a chance to tell us what's the one thing that we can leave with today to help you and RTLD media. So what's the one thing we can do today? And we may have already talked about it, but just remind us of what's the thing that we can do to help you out.
Me specifically, or the community I'm in?
Let's talk about you. Yeah.
When you see me speak, we know each other now. And if I have something to hand you, take it. If I'm selling it, buy it. And I say this because through the years, from high school to now, I have friends supposedly that they never been to my show. That's fine. It's not always about that, because I'm gonna still give them a free CD if I see them. My 10-year class reunion is coming up, so I've stood on the corner and met complete strangers that supported me more than people who know me my whole life. So, and that's with any artist. I don't care what genre it is. If you know them and you know they're really trying, just come on now, spend $10 with them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, give it up for SJ. All right.